for the question at hand, obviously you can see
nice sling.
See my super expensive rifle sling here. This is the rifle that I took brown bear hunting this year in the backup capacity. This is a 375 Ruger. This started out as the Ruger guide gun with the green laminate stock, and I bought the Hogue rubber overmold stock with the aluminum pillar bedding in it. And the gun is unloaded. I'm not going to close the action for YouTube reasons, but it's a 20-inch barrel. This gun does come with a muzzle brake on there, and you can see that it screws on right here, just like that. I'm not going to take it off, again, YouTube reasons, but right now I don't have the brake on there. I haven't had it on there for a very long time. It's way too loud. I did guide with it the first year that I brought this gun brown bear guiding. I did have the brake on there, and my ears are two permanent reasons of ringing as to why I'll never do that again. So they do come with a barrel balancer, they call it. It's the same weight, supposedly, as the brake, and so it's not supposed to change point of impact between brake or no brake. It did change a little bit, but whatever. It's zeroed to shoot as it is figured currently. But I left the balancer on there, not just the short thread cap, just because in theory it sounds good to me anyway. It keeps it this much farther, keeps the noise that much farther away from my head when it goes off.
Get a little bit more velocity.
That's not why I did it, but sure. And it also is a little bit more protected from the barrel itself. Keeps, if I do have the electrical tape blown off of it, I did retape it after I cleaned it. For some reason, I need to take that back off of there. But anyway, I do like this gun. It is probably my favorite rifle configured for a guide gun. It's short. It's relatively light for what it is, although it has enough mass weight to it that it does absorb a bit of the recoil. I think that the rubberized stock probably helps a bit with that too. I've heard some theories about that. But yeah, I hate the Hogue stock as far as aesthetics go compared to other more trim, slimline stock profiles. But I've gotten used to it at this point. I've carried it long enough. And I like the rubberized stock because it's totally weatherproof. And I can hold on to this thing if it's covered in Johnson baby oil. You like that one, dude?
Yeah.
Or in the real world, red rubber fishing gloves when it's soaking wet.
Right. Or bear blood.
Yeah, when it's covered in slime and fat and your hands are dirty and slimy. I can still hold on to this thing. The texture is always there. It doesn't matter if it's wet. I can still get a grip on this thing and shoot it. It does hold 3 in the magazine from the factory configuration. I think this winter I'm going to purchase the Alaska Arms floor plate extension for the magazine. Okay. He makes a magazine for these and an extended floor plate that adds, I think it's 1 extra round.
Is it in stainless or blued or?
I don't recall, actually.
I'm just curious.
I don't
Seeing
remember.
as I have a blued.
Yeah, I know. I think the ones I've seen are black colored. I don't know if they're Cerakoted or nitrided or if they're just blued steel. I don't know. I'll have to ask. He also makes quick detach rings for the Ruger guide guns. I know several guys that have them, and they say they're awesome. They repeat to 0. I wouldn't say that I need those necessarily, but I am interested in adding at least another round to the magazine capacity. It's just nice. Jason's 375, his CZ 550, carries 5 in the magazine. They don't make that CZ anymore, but it is a control round feed rifle. But I do like that feature about his gun. It carries 5 in the mag. Excuse me. But most 375s, especially in the Ruger lineup, just carry 3. And in this Ruger guide gun, they make these in 30-06, 300 Win Mag, 338 Win Mag, 375 Ruger, and 416 Ruger. And I got this one quite a while ago. I think about 7 or 8 years ago at this point. But I've carried it a lot. You know, it is stainless steel. It does pretty well for what it is in the saltwater conditions. That's where it's spent most of its time. But it's just a good working guide gun. It's overall, it's hard to beat this from a factory gun. I think it's a very practical choice. It's not $2,000, which is another plus. It's a relatively speaking for the market. It's pretty affordable for what you're getting out of it. It's not fancy, but it works.
So you missed your scope. What glass would you recommend?
On this gun, I've run 2 different scopes. I started out with the Leupold VX3i 2.5 to 8 power.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a 36 millimeter objective or 30 something anyway. It's not a very big scope. It's pretty light. It's a 1-inch main tube diameter. And then I've also had on there the VX3i 1.5 to 5. I think it's a 20 millimeter.
Yeah, it's a 20. I have one of those.
Objective as well. That's the real straight pencil scope. And that one works fine too. Neither one of those have illuminated reticles in there. This spring I carried my Model 70 that has the red or green illuminated reticle, Trijicon 1 to 8 power scope. And I like that scope, and I would love to put it on that 375 Ruger, but it's a 34 millimeter main body, and Ruger does not make 34 millimeter rings, and nobody does that go direct to that Ruger receiver. And the adapter plate systems that I have tried just don't end up working out very well for that gun. So I only run either 1-inch or 30 millimeter scopes on that gun. So, but yeah, either one of those, the 1.5 to 5 or the 2.5 to 8 is just fine on that gun. So, but again, and that was with the 270 grain shock hammer that Mo and I loaded up together a couple of years ago now. And I've shot a handful of bears with them now, guiding and in backup rolls, and they work. That's the first one I've recovered from a brown bear. Every other one has zipped through. And I always find the shank exit, and then around it within a few inches, I find where the petals have poked out as well, which is pretty impressive that those little petals can make it all the way through after they detach. Yeah,
because they detach in the first few inches. Yeah,
so this particular bullet model, the 270 grain shock hammer, has a little bit thicker petals, so they don't peel off as fast. They do.
It's a half a second instead of a quarter of a second.
Yeah, so
I mean, the difference is very small, but it makes a big difference in what it does and how it performs.
Yeah,
but the difference is just like it's still just under the hide that they're coming apart.
So when I was talking to Steve about which one I wanted to use for brown bear guiding, he said that if you're looking for one that holds on to the pedals a bit longer, get that one, because they built this one specifically for use for water buffalo originally, because they wanted it to stay together to get through a thicker hide. So, more for buffalo application. So I said, on a raking shot, going one end to the other, I'd like it to stay together a little bit longer. Brown bears are not hard. Really, any bear is not hard to shoot through with a premium bullet. Realistically, anything will work if you get a good broadside shot. But for the most part, when I'm shooting, it's a running shot, and a lot of the times they're running away. And so I'm just looking to get shots into the body, whatever angle I'm getting. So I'm looking for maximum penetration, because I'm not ever getting a good broadside lung shot if I'm shooting. So that bullet has worked out great, and I've zipped them through lengthwise on some good sized bears, and they work just fine. So I've been happy with it. But that is one gun there. I figured we would just mention it and talk about it just briefly. Yeah. Outdoor Life just did a good video about that gun too. Okay. Tyler was talking about it quite a bit. So that there's a decent amount of information out there about it.